Okay, seeing a ton of questions about intermittent fasting. So let's talk about it. First thing we have to address is, what does fasting actually mean? So a lot of people make the mistake of thinking fasting is synonymous with not eating or dramatically reducing your calories, which it isn't. Fasting is simply a period of time where you're not eating. It doesn't mean you're eating less, which isn't a bad thing if you're trying to lose weight, but it's a very separate issue, okay? So intermittent fasting has been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's actually called breakfast, otherwise known as breaking the fast. Now, what is intermittent fasting good for? It's good for immunity, anti-aging, and overall health. And the reason is because when we create a period of the day where we're not eating, did I mention I have a parrot that's squawking in the background? When we create a period of the day where we're not eating, and a day is 24 hours, right? So overnight is gonna be the best period of time to do that. You're freeing your body up to do housekeeping. And there's some real fancy terms for this called autophagy, right? Which is a process where the body culls dead and senescent tissue. Some of it gets reused, some of it gets flushed out. Another thing called apoptosis, which has to do with cells dying and reproducing and replicating themselves. We don't even need to get into it. I wrote a whole book about it with a bunch of scientists called The 6 Keys. So just trust me, it benefits your body's immunity and your anti-aging, helps you stay younger longer, right? Because it's optimizing those two processes amongst other things, and it's freeing your body up to focus on that. Whereas your metabolic pathways, which are the pathways in your body that sense nutrients. So carbohydrates and protein in particular get sensed by these metabolic pathways, and they slow down your body's housekeeping because they're so busy going, oh my gosh, we have all these nutrients, they're coming in constantly, and so often that we need to focus on breaking these foods down, and it doesn't get into autophagy or housekeeping in the way that it could or should. So intermittent fasting is really good for those things, right? Staying your most healthy, vital self for as long as possible, boosting immunity, but it isn't actually good for weight loss. That's just not true. The only thing that works for weight loss is calories in, calories out. Doesn't matter how healthy the food is. The quality of your food has to do with fighting off disease, staying younger longer, boosting endurance. But ultimately, a calorie is a unit of energy, okay? There are calories in your food. Doesn't matter how healthy the calories are, if you eat more energy than your body burns in a day, you'll store that energy as fat, period. End of story. A perfect example of this would be an animal like a bear. I don't think bears could eat better. I mean, let's think about it. What are they doing? They're catching wild salmon, they're eating berries and fruits and all this healthy stuff off the land, and they can pack on enough fat to hibernate for months at a time. So think about that, right? If we want to lose weight, it actually doesn't really matter when you consume your calories. It just matters how much you're consuming and how much you're burning. The quality of those calories has to do with how long you're gonna live, how healthy you're gonna be. And then the timing of those things can help you feel fuller for longer. So I recommend the following, right? I recommend eating every 3 to 4 hours. So what this does is it automatically gives you an overnight fast period of minimum 12, maximum 16 fasting hours in your 24-hour period. So if you get up and you have breakfast, right? Then 3 to 4 hours later, you either have lunch or a snack. These are two interchangeable meals. I often usually do a snack after my breakfast, and then I have a bigger lunch later in the day, so I eat less at dinner. So 3 to 4 hours later, I'll have my snack. 3 to 4 hours later, I'll have a late lunch. 3 to 4 hours later, I'll have my dinner, and then I don't eat again for 12 to 13 hours. And that's it. That is the end.